Welcome back to the Global Sport in Colour Voice Newspaper Sports Magazine show. It's the second instalment for the season. We're here at Leyton Orient, our home for the year, and I want to make a special mention, send a special mention out to Leyton Orient and all those involved in helping us to establish our new base, our new home ground. And I want to big up Errol from Prostate Cancer UK, who was also integral in bringing this to life. This week, before we talk football, guys, I'm going to implement a new segment called On the Road. Mike and I were out in Berlin for the European Athletics Championships. It was a great championships, but before we do any more talking, we'll just segue into the film. Good evening, welcome to the Global Sport in Colour Voice Newspaper Sports Magazine show. We're on the road, new segment. We're going to be bringing this one very, very regular because we're always out and about. We can't always be at Leyton Orient as hospitable as they are. It will be the base though. Listen, we're at the European Championships in Berlin. Absolutely fantastic. I want to talk to Mike about the standout performances and the medalists.
Before we go there, can we just talk about this arena?
No, we can. Absolutely wonderful setting. I've been here before. I didn't appreciate it the first time
9 years ago?
It was 9 years ago. Usain Bolt went on that blue track and he done what he had to do. Listen, it was absolutely a moment in my life, in my career. But these championships have been great for different reasons. Great because there's been some stand-up performances from youngsters. Teenagers have won medals, which has been, a first for me. That doesn't really happen too often.
And they've beat the old guard.
Yeah, they have.
And this,
Let's start with the British medalists. Without a doubt, Dina, you stole the show. Dina done the treble, not the double. She done the treble. There was a lot on the line. She came here for the individual double, which was the 1 and the 2. Yeah. Stole the show with personal best world leads. Absolutely outstanding. We're in a very, very good situation where sprinting is concerned. If Dina is the one that's going to be carrying the baton for us, and talking about carrying the baton, we just witnessed them run around the track. What was the time? Do we know the time?
Don't know the time.
Well, they got they topped the podium. That's the main.
Yeah, no, it was close. Let me hold this. I love it. Yeah, no, it was close. It does. It frees you up. I mean, listen. When she got the baton, it was close. Yeah. And she started pulling away and showing that world-class performance that she's got in her legs. And just done what she had to do. She got the job done at the end of the day, and the girl's got another gold and cemented the treble.
Well, she's got 3 golds. She's definitely the one to watch in the future. I don't know how much quicker she can go, but in the men's.
Well, Johnson's talking about her being an Olympic gold medalist if she carries on the way she is.
Which Johnson?
Michael Johnson.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Big up Michael Johnson.
He said that over the BBC.
If anybody knows, he knows. You know what I mean? He's done the thing. So big up. I'd like to know what he thinks about Zarnel though, because I'm sure that it was him or a few others that were talking about Zarnel's technical efficiency, which he seems to have refined under Coach Mills this year. I don't know if the gunman at the beginning of the year that chased him out of training had anything to do with it.
That's enough to throw anyone off, but make them run fast.
I'm just glad we can make light of it now because obviously that was a very serious situation. Reese as well. Let's not forget about him because both of those guys are going to be pushing each other for a number of years. It was the reverse at the trials, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that Reese wasn't happy.
I mean,
he was grateful, and I think he appreciates.
Yeah, I think that's the word. Grateful.
Was it a PB sub 10?
Yeah, under 23
silver medal,
national,
under 23. I mean, he's done it all. You know what I mean? So Reese, if you're watching, well done. Yeah, well done to both of you guys, all of you guys in the Dina, Zarnel.
Don't
Reese.
forget about Imani as well. She looked absolutely phenomenal in the hundreds.
Listen, she's been the surprise package all season for me. I think there's a few other athletes who might have been given the nod had she not found that consistency that she's found towards the business end of the season.
Justified.
I say the business end because it's been a funny season. We've had the World Indoors, we've had the Commonwealth Games, we've had the Europeans, all spaced out. So Imani, you can take great solace and
definitely
from the change you made last year, it's definitely suited you.
Definitely.
And the fact that you found a level of consistency and being able to even make a major final, fantastic.
It's funny, because her like Reese, after we interviewed them both, they were grateful, but they want more.
They want more.
And I think that's fantastic.
No, it's definitely fantastic. And you know what it was? That was for me the overriding emotion I got from these European Championships, that all of the athletes that came through and didn't get gold, that we expected to be, in a podium place or who didn't get in a podium.
They wanted more.
They wanted more. And I love that. I love that hunger. I love that they're not satisfied. I love that even some people came through with a gold. I'm not going to mention any names. And were like, listen, that was what was expected of me. I come here to do that. This is not my level, world levels where I want to be. Yeah. And it bodes well for the future.
They said it humbly. It weren't even.
No, there was no arrogance.
Yeah, there was no arrogance. It was just humble. Yeah. It was like there's more.
Yeah, definitely.
They're grateful again. Yeah. I think it's a key word.
To be honest, I can't really complain. You know, for me, it was a personal best. First time dipping on the top 10 legally, so I'm really happy about that. It was a national under 23 record as well, so for me, I'm glad, you know, to just come out and finally get my first top 10 clock in. I feel like I got a better start in the final, which I'm really happy about. And, you know, to come out here, everyone wanted a 1-2-3, and obviously it was a 1-2. But, you know, I just got beat by the smallest of margin. I can't really complain. It's just what it is.
I'm honestly in so much shock. I mean, I wanted to come here and run PBs. I wanted to come here and win, but doing it is completely different. And to run 10:85 and 21:89 within a few days, it's incredible. Honestly, I don't normally associate those kind of times with me, so I'm absolutely over the moon.
It was okay for me. I just needed to stay relaxed, despite feeling a bit of discomfort in my right calf. But I just needed to go out there and just enjoy it, and that's what I did, and I was successful tonight.
I am over the moon, but I am a little bit disappointed as well. Obviously, you never really go into a race to come sixth. But like I was saying earlier, this is the best shape I've ever been in my life, and I wasn't even ranked sixth in Europe this year, so to come away with another win, my first ever senior champs, my first ever final, I know that it's going to propel me to where I want to be in 2020. In a few years' time, I'm still young, I'm learning my craft, but I'm getting better with every race.
Listen, Imani was a standout performance. She didn't quite medal, but she made a final. Adele Tracy in the 800 metres, I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah.
She broke that. You know, she got that sub-2
clocking
that she's been after for a long, long time. She's looked good all season, very, very consistent. For her to make the final, and I think she finished fourth.
And she looked strong with it as well.
Yeah, she did. And she was one of those that we're talking about that looked like, you know, she felt like she could have done better.
Definitely.
She's going to go on to great things. In that race, we also had Shalane Austin-Clark. We know what she can do.
Yeah, we do.
She wasn't able to replicate that type of form out here this tournament. She'll be a little bit disappointed, but not too disappointed. She made the final. How did you see that, Mike?
I think, you know, that race, I just think the tactics were slightly off, and she's got so much more in her. She could do better than that, and I think she knows it. Because when we saw her come through, it's just like, you could see the disappointment on her face. It's like she knows she should have done better.
Definitely. Yeah. She ran 2 different races in the semi-final and the final.
Finals, yeah.
I think she was probably more comfortable with the race that she ran in the final, but I'm not sure. Well, it's a stellar.
The field was tough though.
Yeah, it was always going to be difficult. Field. So I'm sure she'll be disappointed, but she'll bounce back. In terms of disappointments, though, there were a couple of people who will walk away from these championships and know that they didn't bring it, know that they didn't deliver. Don't like to harp on the negative, and it takes a lot to go out there. We always appreciate it. You can see my medal was literally just for being a journo. I don't know what Mike got his medal for. Do you know what I mean? But Morgan Lake.
Yes, that's another one.
Bitterly disappointed for her.
And she's got it in her. She's got it all over her. I've seen the fight all year.
Big changes, big changes in her psyche, in her mental. She looks like a woman who's up for it and understands that she's one of the. She could be one of the best in the world. You know, she had a great season. Fuzz, you know, her coach won't be happy, and his face popped up on the big screen a couple of times. Listen, we didn't get a word with you, Morgan. We know you were disappointed. We know you're going to come back and do a lot better. So, anybody else?
Lorraine.
Oh,
Lorraine Nugent.
That was a big one. I really felt gutted.
My money was
for
on her, you know.
Yeah, I know.
I put my money on her.
I know.
And everything was there. World lead. She come into the competition in excellent form. Nobody knows until we speak to her.
Yeah.
We won't know. But I just think sometimes, you said it, sometimes experience could be the thing that was missing at that point. So she can only kick on and grow from it.
No,
and
definitely.
the one that did have experience was Shara.
True.
And Shara, like she said earlier on, she's been in form all year. So, and she come through.
Listen, all of the jumpers, did well to make it through to the final. First time I think that's ever happened.
Jasmine,
Jasmine, big up for finishing fourth. I mean, she was bitterly disappointed, Jazz. She left it all out there. She done everything she could. You know, so that's one of those things. Listen, I tell you who I thought could have done a bit better than he did and was unlucky because he got a poor lane draw. Dwayne Cowan. You know, I felt that he was capable of making it to the final and you know, maybe meddling. You know, I just thought he had that in him.
So you reckon if he was in a better lane, more would have come out those legs?
Definitely so.
It was a good race though.
It was.
That race was a very sharp race.
Yeah.
Boy Matthew ran away with it.
Hudson Smith.
Beast.
Special.
Beast.
Special. Listen.
And he come through with his hat on.
Listen, let's go to the video. I want to see the video.
Yo, I got to about 300, 320, and I got hit with the most amount of lactic I've ever had in my life. I don't know what that was.
But you was moving through that 320 though, so that's probably what it was.
I've never been hit like that in my life. I've never had lactic like that in my life. That was different, but at the end of the day, it's just about the victory. But that was the most painful victory I've ever had in my life.
You're operating with a different level of belief in yourself. What's brought that about?
The environment that I'm in. I have the best coach in the world. That's it. Best coach in the world. When he says you're ready, you're ready. I came here and he gave me the belief that I'm one of the best in the world. And when you have people like Coach Browman, Noah Lyles, Sean A, Tyson, like everyone in the camp, I have the best group in the world, I have the best coach in the world, the best setup. Why not?
So you're inspired, you're falling back in love with the sport, right? There's things to do now, isn't there?
Yeah, last year I hated it. I hated the sport. I quit like so many times. The only reason why I was in it because my mum was like, what the hell, what else would you have done? So I was like, that's true. So
Mum knows, bro.
She knows, innit? So
I know the next 3 years are important as well. You got a Worlds, you got an Olympics and another World. So, you know, it didn't quite go my way in the individual, but it was nice to round off the champs with a gold medal with these guys. So I can't complain. Just get through the rest of the season now and then get some rest and focus on the next season.
It's a good way to end, mate. Good way to end. That's a to end. Adam, similar thing, really. I guess it didn't go how you wanted it to go individually. Nice to end with a medal, though.
Yeah, it's always a fantastic way to end, and it's nice that there's the 4x1, and usually it's a 4x4, which we love watching. But yeah, really happy, and it's individually not the best, but as a relay we can come together and leave on a high. So really, really pleased, and yeah, like I said, redemption is coming next season, so we gotta step it up and start challenging for those world medals. So
everyone's trying to redeem themselves. Harry, team effort, isn't it?
A massive team effort. There's a lot of people that you don't see here that have funded us, that have put strength into us. Christian Malcolm, Benki Blonkvis, Stephen Maguire, physio staffing, British Athletics focus on the relays in a sense because they know that they've got such a talented group of athletes that can come together. And you know what? We work well together. It's one of those things it's an amazing feeling to celebrate an individual medal, but it's totally different to celebrate a relay with someone because obviously it's an individual sport, but moments like these we do cherish. And to come with these guys, you know, we all get along, we all play FIFA together, we all have bants together, you know, we're one family, we're one unit. There's a lot of people at home that you don't see right here. I can list them all, like the likes of OJ, Kilty, Neffenil obviously couldn't make the final, Danny Talbot, James Eddington, Reece Prescott. There's so many people, and just to think that we all come together and we all get along and we all push each other, it's a massive effort.
Come on, tell the truth. Who told him not to lick anyone down?
I don't know.
Because a few years ago, out on that track, it wasn't a track, wasn't a track. Oh, you won a medal? All right, fair play.
He's already blessed this track. Which event did you?
So it's nice for you.
Which event did you partake in, man?
Me. Nah, it's what it is. Best journal in the business. Right, that was that was Berlin. A very, very interesting time. 18 medals, 7 of them gold. A fantastic achievement by Team GB. All involved can take their hats off. Rod, I don't know if you caught it on TV. You weren't there?
In between bits and pieces, I did. Fantastic. Let's be real. I think sometimes the European Championships goes under the athletics radar, doesn't it? It's not a Worlds, obviously. It's not a Commonwealth, etc., etc. It's fantastic. And obviously, from our viewpoint, the highlight was Dina doing great work. I've been chatting to a few people, yourself included. You know, you got your finger on the pulse, very much there. Global superstar in the waiting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was the beginning, wasn't it? Really?
Global superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had the privilege of interviewing her a few times, many years ago when you guys probably weren't available. But what I like about her, she's a fantastic athlete, but she comes over so well.
Yeah.
In terms of persona. And I think that British Athletics needs her, simply because what did we have? London 2012, Super Saturday, Ennis Hill, Rutherford, Mo Farah, and with all due respect, they're now gone. So as you always told me, it's about cycles, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think Dina is going to be really pivotal to that cycle. Really well done to Team GB. Really
Face, what was your stand-up moment from?
You know what?
From the whole week.
Yeah, I know.
I know you was tired by the end, but what was the stand-up moment for you?
Do you know what? I think, apart from the two 17-year-olds doing their thing,
the Norwegians.
Yeah, the Norwegians. It was the relay. It was the relay. Both men and women sprint relay teams winning gold in that fashion that they did, the support they gave each other at the
Closing
end.
the show.
And
Closing the show.
That amazing shot where the boys and girls were together at the end.
Yeah,
it
great
just
picture.
rounded up the whole chat.
really
And
did.
you feature that tremendously in the
Yeah,
latest
The Voice,
edition of The
yeah,
Voice.
that's right,
So,
yeah. Pick up The Voice this
Pick up
week.
The Voice this week. I've also got to mention Matthew Hudson-Smith. Now,
Matt
for
with
me,
a hat.
Matt with a hat,
on the floor.
Matt
and
with a
you know,
hat.
read The Voice or check us out online because Joel's wonderful report is there. If he was a footballer, I'm going to be honest with you, people might call him a journeyman, might they? Because he's been around, and I know he's still a young guy.
He's very young.
I mean, I've covered some Diamond League events a couple of years ago, and he was on that, we was on the same plane together, and no one knew who he was. Do you know what I mean? And for him to eventually do what he did, I say big respect. We know about Dina, don't we? You know about the Jamilis of this world, etc., etc. Matthew Hudson-Smith is a tremendous advocate for putting in the work with no success.
No, he did.
Putting in the work with no success and then getting your due rewards.
He did say he put out a tweet earlier on in the week saying how hard his journey's been, and finally he was happy to.
Well, he saw from our clip, he nearly quit.
Yeah.
You know, he told his mum he's done with it. You know, he quit a few times, as you saw from the interview. And as you also saw, we're glad he stayed in the game. I believe he's truly special. I think he's in the right environment now to go on and really prosper. It's up to him. There are some real killers in the 400 metres across the globe. There are some names.
Mate.
I mean, Van Niekerk, wherever you are.
Makwala.
Yeah, Makwala.
Oh, Isaac,
Yeah, there's just so many, and I know they're going to be gunning next
But
year.
what a European gold gives you?
Confidence.
It gives you confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah.
And
I belong on this
right.
stage.
He's done it in tremendous fashion.
He did.
Yeah,
and
he did.
You know, so you're absolutely right. There's some real killers out there. But guess what? Why can't he be?
He's a killer
killer?
too. Yeah,
Makes
he's
sense.
a killer
For
too.
me, classically built for the event as
I
well.
agree.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, come on. I think that this European Championships is a foundation of something really special.
Definitely.
And the fact that he was disappointed.
I don't think he was disappointed.
Not in winning, but
you know he wanted that time.
He wanted that time to go with, so there's so much more of his
But that's the thinking of a killer, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
so
it.
I've got my medal. Some people would be happy after the journey to be just that.
He wants more.
I want more, and that's why he can go on now. And after years of hurt, to some degree, and I don't even call it hurt. In fact, sorry, I apologise. Learning.
No,
Yeah,
definitely.
you can now go through the gears. Go through the gears.
Hey, you know what? I've got to clear this up. In the post-race interview with the 4x1 team, I alluded to Harry. And Harry, I said I'd clear this up for you. I alluded to you knocking someone down on that same track many moons ago. I was swiftly made to eat my words. I was corrected by you guys. Actually, you won a medal in 2009. So
well, they told you about your medal, didn't
they told me about my medal. I should actually give it back, having made such a boo-boo on camera. But Harry, it was never a disrespect. I really wanted to. This is a number one lesson, young journalists. Don't preempt an interview. So what I was gonna do, Harry, is I was gonna say, you knocked someone down here, didn't you, before? What a way to redeem yourself. Got it totally wrong. You've actually won medals there twice. Bless that track, as CJ Ujar said. I won't be doing that again. It just goes to show.
Like an advert, isn't it?
I mean, he loses his stamp for journalism of the year because he said he's the journalist of the year.
I had the medal one for the best journo in the
off.
tournament. I got to take it off and give it back. But just thought I'd clear that one up just before anybody thinks I was trying to rain on Harry's parade. Yeah, love it. The whole team done so well. Can't wait to see what you guys do next year at the World Championships. Such an important year and so close to the Olympics in 2020. The next 18 months, 2 years are just
mad, isn't it?
Crazy. So this was a great start, sir. Continued success. Well as we move on from there, let's talk about football.
Yes, indeed.
Go for it. Man.
Let's talk about soccer. The season started, Rodney.
Yes, indeed.
To bring the viewers of the pod and the listeners of the pod up to speed, we're kind of like, it's been a bit funny the way we started this. We kind of skipped a week. Rodney, you attended the Community Shield game. Talk to us about that because it was a great season opener. We saw the champions do what they do against a team that I thought could have posed them a few problems, but invariably they were played off the park.
I think I said to you, because I think you were both away, you're talking about Manchester City beating Chelsea 2-0, what seems a long time ago now. It was a 2-0 thrashing. Man City, for me, don't look like they've had a summer break. They've picked up seamlessly.
It's not nice.
The most frightening thing is that some of the key players, the Sterlings, the De Bruynes, weren't even in that team.
Right.
I don't think they'd actually even started their pre-season training yet because they'd got
Just
the extra
got
little
back from
rest.
holiday,
Yeah.
innit?
So you then had the Bernardo Silvas, and I've got so much love for this guy.
You mention him every year.
He's a special guy. Trust me, he's a special guy. Laporta at centre half, John Stones with the confidence of a good World Cup. Team to beat again. And I know what I've said in terms of Liverpool, and I'm not going to change my mind. But City looks super. And I'll tell you what I've done. I've gone through the fixtures. TV games have been organised. On October the 7th, Liverpool play Man City at Anfield. I've already booked my hotel in Liverpool. Trust me. I've already done it. No, seriously, I did the game last year.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm not missing those games. Missing those games.
Classics. That's going to actually be a humdinger.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the Community Shield, we've got a new partnership with Cheeky Sport. If you're not familiar with them, go and check them out. They're at Cheeky Sport on pretty much every platform. They're a set of guys whose work that we've admired from afar. We're eager to kind of see what they can do with us throughout the season.
Collab.
It's a great collaboration. Let's just check out some of the stuff that they did outside of that Community Shield before we move on.
Hey, listen, you just what? Chelsea. Listen. Obviously, Chelsea were banging when you lot were growing up and that, yeah? Right about now, it looks like they're deading out a little bit. You see what I'm saying? It's not. Listen, you lot are young enough to change. You see what I'm saying? If you want to change sides, you can.
Yeah, what team do you support?
Hey, listen, the greatest team in all of the world.
What team is that?
You know who that is?
What team is that?
You know it is.
Are you going to say Arsenal?
No, come on.
What team do you support?
Come on, you know what the greatest team in world football. The greatest team ever. The greatest team to ever do it.
What team?
You know who it is. You know who it is.
No.
Say it. You know who it is.
Say it.
All right, just look at the back. Just look at the back.
United, man. United.
Yeah,
you're done at it.
Yeah, you know. Oh!
So there you have it. That was Cheeky Sport. Lively addition to the pod. Yeah, they're going to be our
Lots of energy.
Lots of energy. Love
cheeky.
that. Very cheeky.
Very
cheeky. And it's not just football they do as well. They do other sports as well. So look out for them working with us throughout the season. Now, Rod, still on Manchester City. You was at the first opening game of the season.
Well, it is us.
At your beloved Arsenal.
Yeah, it is us.
Talk to us, man. What was the game like?
Whatever I said about Man City during the Community Shield, ditto. But I mean, Leroy Sané started on the bench and got 5 minutes at the end. De Bruyne was on the bench, got maybe 20 minutes at the end. Raheem Sterling scored. I just got to say ditto. They look superb. And there's Pep Guardiola, 25 minutes into the first Premier League game of the season. He's remonstrating. He's all energy on the sidelines.
He's had a lot to say, hasn't he?
A lot to say, yeah. Team to beat, without doubt.
Were you impressed with your own side?
I'm not going to say the word impressed, but I did take away some positives and credit. I think that having followed the club for so long, and it's not a disrespect to Arsene Wenger, it's an observation that I saw a manager with some tactics. Yeah, the game was lost and it could have been a lot worse, but there was opportunities, there was some sort of plan. I don't think Arsenal fans should do this either. I didn't judge Arsenal's new era based on a champions. The champions that won the league by 19 points. Do you know what I mean?
You can't do that.
So I saw some things. I think Matteo Guendouzi, a 90-year-old midfielder, is one to watch for. I just saw Arsenal, wait for it, playing a pressing game, which on more than one occasion gave City something to think about. But City are 2 years ahead of Arsenal in regards to that, with a better manager, obviously, who's won things. But yeah, I like what I see. So, yeah.
As far as first games go, Mike, what was the result that stood out for you, or were there any surprises?
Listen, I'm not watching no other team no more. I'm watching my own team. Right? Now, United, for me, that opening game for United was it was decent. Nothing to shout about. But what I did like, what Jose done with the boys, is he incorporated the youth. Like Pereira, like I said.
Did he have a choice? I'm just asking.
Yeah, he did, because all the players were back.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really listen too much to what the media put in.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Make your own mind up.
Make your own mind up.
Why
And
not?
everyone was there. And everyone was playing, and everyone looked decent.
Jose was
He was
remonstrating. He was quite busy on the sidelines.
I'm glad he made Pogba the captain, though. The boy's a World Cup winner. Do you know what I mean? So all the slack and all the news that comes in about transfers and they get... He's a World Cup winner.
Mike,
he's a league winner.
For me, that captaincy issue, Mike, is an olive branch.
Yeah.
And fine, fair. Why not? He's a World Cup winner. So yeah.
Don't tell him that.
Tricky game for United, but they did what he needed to do on the first game, which is win.
Yeah.
And it just, all the talk previously about Man United was put to bed. You were top of the table for 24 hours. Doesn't make sense. So
there you go.
Well, I mean, you talk about all the talk before the game. Same thing for Tottenham, I think, to be honest with you. For them to go out to Newcastle and get
That's another one,
a result, first game, having not bought any players. A lot of people were watching, a lot of eyes on that fixture. Rafa Benitez, we all know, is very astute when it comes to setting up tactically. So he would have set his stall out to frustrate and beat Tottenham. He would have believed he had the tools to do that. So to get the result, I think was credit to Pochettino for getting the players up and running.
What's your take on the stadium situation? Because you guys are not moving in for a while.
I didn't think that they was going to move in anyway. Yeah. If I'm totally honest, I've got a well-positioned spy who's been feeding me since last year on the situation with the stadium. So I mean, I don't talk about it, but there are issues, there are challenges, and that's to be expected with a project this size. For me, up until this point, it's run quite seamlessly. They've pretty much hit every target. If it was a case of safety, then we don't compromise on that.
You can't compromise on safety at all.
Which was the issue. So we all know about stadiums and safety issues in years gone by, so we must learn from those lessons. I don't think it really bothers anybody apart from Tottenham supporters who would have paid for fixtures that they believe they would have been attending. We'll get in there. It'll all get done, and everybody will marvel at the stadium as it deserves.
Looks decent outside.
It is very, very decent. I can't wait to get in there, to be honest with you. But in terms of what they're doing on the pitch, as long as they keep nicking 3 points, and they've got a big important fixture this weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. But as long as they keep nicking 3 points until they get into that stadium, I don't mind.
And to some degree, that's what they did against Newcastle. Newcastle were very, very good.
They were good.
And if it had ended 2-2, I think that would have been about right.
Yeah.
But once again, I think what it's done for Tottenham, with all this stuff about players returning and not everyone being fit, Poch made a big decision. He played some big players who clearly weren't fit. But I think the spirit and almost that, I'm going to show you mentality.
Winning start again,
Winning start again, yeah. So that's all you can do. And I tell you what, I think we might have alluded to it last time we spoke. There's a 19-point gap that Man United have to claw in. Never mind everybody else.
Yeah.
And I know how sad this is going to sound. As I'm driving around, I'm thinking, if you are part of the chasing pack, in your head, if you really want to win the league, you can't afford to lose more than 2 games, because that's what City lost last year. So that's the standard that's been set, and I think it's almost panicked people, quite rightly, into, let's get up and running as quickly as we can.
It's funny, I was reading a Liverpool player, his name escapes me, he was saying exactly the same thing. He believed that they could have won it last year, but he said everyone saw how good City were, but he said this year they still believe that. But it's going to be difficult because you can't lose games.
Do you know what, Jay? When Arsenal and Man United were either winning the league many moons ago, Ferguson versus Wenger, I think you could afford to lose a few early games when the weather was good. I don't know if you can do that now.
Well, I think back then it was the standard was you could lose 5 games and probably still win the league.
Great, absolutely
levels,
right. Whereas now, if you are a top 5 club, I'm not going to include Arsenal in that. You can't. You've almost got to say, you know what? We've lost our second game in August, and guess what? We're in trouble. That's the standard that Man City have stepped.
It's about hitting the ground running. It's fun. Before we move on to this week's fixtures, we had a very interesting guest in the office, Kabaka Pyramid. I'm not sure if everybody, big up for Kabaka Pyramid. If everybody's familiar with their reggae, this is a young man from Jamaica who's, is making waves. He released his first album earlier this year. Has a lot to say about football. Represents that new wave of artists coming through, who have opinions on everything, not just reggae music. Let's hear what he's a big Arsenal supporter. He's big Gooner. Let's hear what he had to say about Arsene Wenger, albeit he's gone, and Unai Emery.
I never have much high hopes for that first game. There's something with Arsenal and we have to get over it. Like, we don't start things well. We don't start the season well. We don't start games well. We have to get out of that mentality from the latter part of the Wenger era. And we have to get things going from the start. And I think Emery, I like his mentality. Because I see when, like for example, when I watch a pre-season, I see like he will be get a long ball and him try chase it to the man who was beside him. Instead of him take it. A chest pass with our next defender there is a risky thing. Just chest down the ball, control it, and then do what you do. I'm going to see the coach up on the side and tell him, just bring it down. Wenger would have never do that. Wenger would have just sit down there and just, maybe he would have cussed to somebody, but him not cuss the player them. Him not direct the player them and say, yo, you need to do this. You know, Wenger now make no change in the first half if him see we down all 3-0 to Man U in a 30 minutes and him now make no change. You know what I mean? So it's like them.
So you was a Wenger out.
Wenger out, brother. Like, me respect everything that the man do for the club. I understand, so the man was the boss of the club and everything and everybody. You know, I talk to people who work at the Emirates and them love Wenger and everything. But the team wasn't progressing. Players weren't progressing. So Walcott didn't improve. Ouseley didn't improve. The man improved so much since him go Liverpool.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Ramsey, I'm not a Ramsey fan. From Ramsey getting first injury, the man has not been the same and he has not improved. Him will nick in a one goal, he make clever runs, but as a midfielder where Wenger did that play him, he's not a good passer of the ball.
So you got a new manager, new era. You reckon you can finish in the top 4 this year?
I think we have a side good enough. I like the acquisitions. I like Guendouzi. I like that youth there.
Yeah, good player.
Torreira, I've heard about him. I never really see him stand out during the World Cup for Uruguay, so I kind of watching him. But me watch Guendouzi in the pre-season, and I like what he's about. You know, so, you know, Aubameyang is one of my baller them. I like Mkhitaryan, but he's a little inconsistent. The same with Ozil. So if Emery can get them clicking, I feel we can make the top 4.
All right, that was Kabaka Pyramid. Check out his album. You can download, stream, everything. Big time Gooner. The poor sod. Anyway, what can I say? Listen, all right, now let's look at the fixtures.
Yeah,
this weekend. This is some exciting games again. I think it's exciting games.
Do you want to wrap through all the fixtures? We've got Cardiff versus Newcastle. There's a lunchtime game. I think Newcastle obviously will be, trying to make up for the loss.
Agreed. Yeah, they need
Cardiff as well, lost to Bournemouth. Everton, Southampton, Richarlison, £50 million man. They didn't win, Everton, but he looked good.
He did.
He's a good player.
He's a very good player. Leicester versus Wolves, bit of a Midlands derby. There's Spurs Fulham, local derby.
Where's that? At Fulham?
That's at your house.
Wembley.
Your temporary house. At Wembley.
Yeah.
Wembley.
The fake house.
Feels like home.
Then we got West Ham versus Bournemouth, and then the evening game that I'll be attending is Chelsea versus Arsenal.
Big game, massive.
Intriguingly, Arsenal had a little Indian sign over Chelsea in recent times, games that they would normally lose.
Turning point there.
Turning point. So I'd be interested. I'll judge Arsenal's performance and season and where they're going a little bit more based on that Chelsea game than the Man City game.
Are you happier going there knowing that there's no Costa up front?
Without doubt. And that's why the Indian sign is there.
They're just not the same, are they?
It's
not the same.
No, because he'd bully and be horrible. And Arsenal defenders just weren't up for it.
Didn't like that.
So that's a Saturday. Sunday, we've got Burnley versus Watford. I don't think anyone will be staying for that one. Sorry. Man City versus Huddersfield. I expect Huddersfield to get a whooping there.
Man City versus
Huddersfield, yeah.
Can you stop on the whole Man City thing for a minute? Because one thing that made the news this week was Ian Wright's comments on Raheem Sterling
and the media.
Was right?
Oh, with the media take on how they are.
Well, there was a universal
racially profiling Raheem.
Well, I don't know if they're racially profiling him or he gets a hard time because the agenda's racist, essentially. You know, there's a racist agenda that's just designed to give Raheem Sterling a bad name, and in Ian Wright's words, keeping him in his place, keeping him down. They don't want to see him rise.
I've got a small take on it. I mean, I've had a read, I've had a listen. When you use the word racial, it can be perceived as a very strong statement.
Yeah, well, it should be.
And it should be.
Yeah, I don't think anybody uses it lightly.
I don't think the treatment that Raheem's got has been, he should be getting. I think is poor, the treatment that he's getting, based on some of the minute things that are happening to him. Is Ian Wright right? Potentially, yeah. Potentially.
Rod, so let me ask you a question before you get your opinion. Is what Raheem Sterling's been exposed to, and I'm just being controversial here. Is it any different to what Tony Adams got in that period of his career for years?
Yeah.
Because he weren't, back then it was commonplace for newspapers to superimpose rabbit's ears on you and donkey's ears on you, put you on the back page. And listen, he got the right.
It's a good point. It's a good point you make, and I understand it. Yeah. What you're saying, that if you're a professional footballer, you're open to nonsense. However, I do think what Ian Wright has said, I can understand why he's coming from. Ian Wright has played the game at the highest level. He's now in the media himself, and he's a very passionate black man. Okay, I think some of the treatment that Raheem has received has been ridiculous. Tattoo on the leg, all of a sudden that was, a big issue. This is the guy that's, if England had a good World Cup, he was part of that. Okay, he didn't score any goals, but as we've always said, that when Harry Kane and others are scoring goals, it's because maybe 3 or 4 defenders are focused on Raheem's pace and energy.
It's pulled them away,
so for me, that was ill-timed. And I read some of the comments, and I think that some of what I'm reading, and it's not the first time in my career that I'm going to say this, I think some of the people that are writing the stuff or saying the stuff don't know enough. They don't know the guy. And they're making massive statements about him as a collective. And that's what Ian's addressing. He's not addressing one individual piece. He's talking about the collective. And that's why, and I'll be quite honest with you, writing for The Voice and being part of what we're part of is necessary. So we can bring some civility and understanding to the scenarios. So I'm going to go with Ian and say that the collective is not great. It's not great. And he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it.
No, I agree. He doesn't deserve it. I think it's so many reasons why he's targeted.
Podcast, by the way.
Sorry,
it's a family podcast because I can see your wheels.
Yeah, you know, innit? I'm trying to work.
I know what you like.
Yeah, you know what I'm like. I want to go, don't I? But I personally think that it's a credit to him the way he's risen beyond it. I also think that we're in an interesting time, and we have this discussion all the time in the office, that if the mainstream and conventional media didn't have social media to check their behaviour, nothing would have stopped them and slowed them down. I think that there's been not a 180, but people are a bit more mindful about what they write about Raheem now, because social media and the voices, dissenting voices against that type of behaviour are not frightened to put themselves out there. And I think that's what's given Ian Wright some legs, because he could have said that maybe 5 years ago when people weren't so active on Twitter, weren't so active on all the other platforms, in saying, hold on a minute, what's the Sun doing? And showing 2 years worth of a campaign where they're highlighting petty stories. And yes, I did say the Sun. I did, because it was led by them, in my opinion. Some of the stories are just unnecessary. And if we were to focus on every footballer in that way, I don't even know where we'd be. How about we just focus on the football?
And of course, if you want to keep up to date with this story, you can go online, all the W's, voice-online.co.uk, because our respected voice columnist, Sir Herman Ouseley, has agreed with Ian and put it in a very elegant way, so you can read about that all online.
Good reading.
And he, within his column, and I've seen it briefly already, he also talks about the Pogba treatment. Do you know what I mean? So it's interesting, and that's why I say working for The Voice allows us the privilege of bringing some water to the fire of everything that we're talking about.
It's not a one-way street.
No, it's not a one-way street.
But they've got, was it Huddersfield, you said?
Man City, Huddersfield, I expect loads
What's
of goals
that going to be? Sorry, because we,
we went off.
We get fired up when it comes to racism. And
I've got a busy weekend because I end up on Super Sunday again, Brighton versus Manchester United.
Right, mate, you're doing it all, aren't you?
I'm doing it all.
How many games you done already?
More than you. Because
I
know. I did 40 games last year.
Yeah.
A bit of a variety. I want to do 50 this year.
Yeah, 50 is the target.
And I know that when you're focused on athletics and everything else, you're back on it.
50.
Do you know what I mean?
So 50. He stole a march on me.
Going for 50.
Stole a march on me. What did I do the season before? I did 40 the season before.
Yeah, that's right. And I've got you down for 20 this year.
50.
I haven't told you yet.
I'm doing 20. I'm going for 25.
Okay. That's it. The target set.
Yeah, Brighton versus Man United.
They need to pick up them points, Brighton. I don't care if it's Man United.
I don't know where they're going to get it from. I don't know where they're going to get it from.
I don't expect
I don't know where they're going to get it from.
Do you know what?
I don't know where they're going to get it from.
I don't know where they're going to get it from. I don't know. I expect Brighton to get beaten by Man United.
It's a different United.
1-0.
I'm just saying.
And of course, Brighton at that time had something to focus on.
Yeah.
And it was survival in the top flight. And by all accounts, they were awful in their opening game against Watford, which is so Chris Hughton-like.
And Lukaku was injured.
Just makes sense. I think if Brighton, and I know Chris would have sat down with them, obviously, during the week, if they don't get their act together, the Lukakus, the Rashfords, the Sanchez's of this world could make it painful. And then you are -6 points, and then it becomes a little bit of a struggle. But listen, we wish them well. Hope Man United don't bring
two tough games to open with. Who else have we got to look forward to this weekend? Is that the last game?
Yeah, that's it. Oh, sorry.
What's the Monday
first Monday night football. Crystal Palace. And our good mate Ayo Demade. I know he's doing some athletics with you over the weekend. Will be at that game. Palace versus Liverpool. Palace, by all accounts, were really good against newly promoted Fulham over the weekend. And Liverpool was sensational, Mike. We talked about it, didn't we? We did talk about it, didn't we? Yeah, Salah scored the opener. Mane, I think, got 2. The new midfielder, Navigator, looks like the new goalkeeper had nothing to do.
Nothing to do. Listen, when you're opening the season like that, we know it's early, but when you're bumping a team that spent 100 million,
agreed,
4-0, you've got to take note. Yeah, you have to take note.
Yeah, I'm not jumping on this Liverpool bandwagon for a little while. I'm gonna wait for a while.
You're gonna wait.
But you lot beat them last year, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And to go back to your stadium not opening, it's a pity. Because the first game would have been against Liverpool September the 15th.
Yeah, but we reserve that privilege for bigger teams still.
me and you did the Super Sunday when you hammered them at Wembley. That is not going to happen again.
Why?
Nah.
Why?
No.
Why you say that? No one would have said that we would have hammered them then either.
Different Liverpool.
Listen, it's the same centre-back, isn't it?
Yeah.
It might be deja vu.
Did they have Virgil that time?
It might
they didn't have Virgil, did they? He come in January, didn't he?
I think he might come off
I
the
think
30 minutes. How about that?
Is that black coffee to balance out?
I can't wait to the pod for that game. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait
We'll
till
preview
it
that
comes
one.
out. Yeah,
He might come off
preview
after
and review.
Both might come off after 35
I can't
minutes.
wait.
We'll see.
That'll be good, man. That'll be a good game.
It's going to be a great game.
Palace versus Liverpool will be good.
All right. That's the Monday night fixture. Well, listen, it's been the Global Sport in Colour Voice Newspaper sports magazine show. We're going to be back next week with a whole load of stuff. We're going to be in Birmingham for the athletics, so look out for more track and field coverage. That'll probably be the last one for this for the season. That'll be the last on the road from track and field anyway. There's a lot more to come, boxing and you name it. There's no limit.
A whole cornucopia of sporting bits.
Like I said, there's so much.
So look out for us, and thanks for all your support. Share, get involved, comment. There's a lot of comments on the first.
There was a lot of comments.
There's a lot of comments on the first one, man. And if you'd like to see anybody specifically on the show, get at us. We'll see if we can make that happen. Until then, see you next week.